crash, we looked at it as an opportunity because we were short. Why? Because I was able to teach my students how to read a chart so in advance they would know that the market was going to go down. It's all about learning. It's always amazed me our whole life. Someone teaches us to play baseball. Someone teaches us to ski. Someone teaches us how to drive a car. But there's nobody there to teach you how to invest in a stock. And that's where I come in. I think I have the best teaching format in the country. Check it out. It's philsgang.com. So you'll be so comfortable. You don't care if the market's going down or the market's going up. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
St. Jude is amazing. A family member said, well, if you go to St. Jude, you don't have to pay anything. And I didn't believe it. They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
From the perspective of the U.S. economy, I think we've seen continuing signs of strength.
Continuing signs of strength? What are you, nuts? Household spending dropped to its lowest level since 2008. Retail sales dropped to its lowest level in 9 years. Wages to its lowest level in 30 years. Disposable income to its lowest level in 40 years. Home ownership to its lowest level in 30 years. What's he talking about? That's Jack Lew, our Treasury Secretary. We can't trust anything that comes out of Washington or Wall Street. And that's why I want you to join Phil's Gang. My name is Phil Grande of philsgang.com. Well, the reason you stay away from the stock market because you're fearful, because no one has taught you how to invest. You go to school to learn how to do math. You go to school to learn how to drive. Why don't you go to school to learn how to invest using charts? Join my gang, philsgang.com, the best teaching format in the country when it comes to stocks.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264.
Be sure to watch the Phil's Gang Show with Phil Grande, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on various devices like smartphones, tablets, your computer, and more. Get free access to the Phil's Gang Show right in your hands at home or on the go. Simply go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com and click on the Listen Live link. And we'll see you on the charts.
Middle-class economics works.
Works? Where? Show me where it works. You tell us the unemployment rate is 5.1%, and you only get to 5.1% by making sure people don't have a job. Think of August. August, the unemployment rate went down to 5.1% because 200,000 people couldn't find a job. If they found a job, our unemployment rate would be at 10%. Isn't this amazing? Hi, I'm Phil Grande of philsgang.com. Aren't you sick of this stuff? Aren't you sick of these politicians? They keep lying to us. And you know, Wall Street does too. And how many times have you said, boy, I hate Wall Street. I hate the stock market. But that's the best place in the world to make money. But you need a lesson. You need a lesson on how to invest. That's where I come in. Join my gang, philsgang.com. It's the best teaching format in the country when you want to learn how to invest in stocks. philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264.
AMVA, and I've lost over 30K on it, but it had excellent earnings the last several quarters, and if they make the cameras and drone equipment, I don't know why it's so weak these days.
It's so weak these days because you don't pay attention to what they make. You don't care about their earnings. The problem is the institutions are pulling their money out, and that's all you need to know, and that's what we identify in the chart, and that's why I become a Phil's Gang member.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. At philsgang.com, we promote core technicals and chart analysis that enables each Phil's Gang member to be the best investor they can be. At philsgang.com, stock investing is defined in detail by the Phil's Gang standards. Working together, we achieve our goals and ultimately provide a truly unique profit-taking experience for our members. This is what philsgang.com does, and no one does it better than the off-the-Wall Street maverick, Phil Grande. For over 15 years, Phil coaches and teaches that stock investing diversity goes beyond fundamentals and stories. We believe that amazing things happen when people invest in themselves by following Phil's format and recommendations. At philsgang.com, we believe in the desire to embrace, build, and deliver on our core values and promises. And for over 15 years, Phil Grande has delivered on that promise. For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. There is only one talk show host, Phil Grande, who delivers both social and financial talk. Not even Hannity or Rush can deliver a 1-2 punch like that. That's Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Phil Grande is unique, the industry leader, the first talk show host ever to combine social issues and finance into winning stock market ideas. That's Phil Grande, philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grande.
To lend to a bank, we simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account that they have with the Fed. So it's much more akin, although not exactly the same, but it's much more akin to printing money than it is to borrowing.
You've been printing money.
Well, effectively, and we need to do that.
Yeah, effectively, we need to do that. The problem with printing money is going to kill your retirement. Most people have no clue the effect that the Federal Reserve has on them as an individual, have on your family. Now, Ron Paul knew, and he for years tried to get rid of the Federal Reserve. And he couldn't do it. He never got any support. And the reason why he never got any support is because these congressmen, these gangsters in Congress, they love the Federal Reserve. Because the Federal Reserve would come in and buy all the debt so they could go out and spend more money on their projects, their bridges to nowhere. The problem with the Federal Reserve, Congress can dump the debt that they create to the Federal Reserve and spend and spend and spend. Your retirement it relies on what's going to happen with this Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve balance sheet, you have no clue. It has it's got a direct relation to your lifestyle, to how you're going to live when you're retired, if you're even going to be able to retire. Welcome to Phil's Gang, coast to coast, around the country, off the Wall Street Radio Network. My name is Phil Grande. 8 past the hour here on Phil's Gang. We've got a lot to talk about today, but we're going to talk about the Federal Reserve. I know it sounds boring, but it's not going to be. It's very important. Do you know that most people cannot retire? Retirement once was, hey, you went to work, you had a pension, you'd retire. Everybody retired with a pension. There's fewer pensions anymore. Very few people have a pension. Those are a thing of the past. The 401 came in, took away all the pensions. The 401ks are horrible.
I think the biggest obstacle for Americans today is that most of us have been hypnotized into believing that finance is so complex that we just got to give it to somebody else. We have an industry, so everybody understands, that's a 4.4 trillion with a T size industry that for 30 years didn't have to tell you what they charged you.
That's right.
3 years ago, they were forced to change. And the law was changed that you have to show people what you're charging. So the industry's response is to build these 35 to 50-page disclosure documents that if you're a lawyer and you've got a degree in finance, maybe you can understand. Most Americans believe that they pay nothing for their 401k. There are no fees. There are fees, and they matter. Here's how they matter. Every 1% in fees that you're paying for whatever investment you have, because of the growth of compounding, That 1% that you're giving away is 10 years of retirement income.
And to put in perspective, this is Tony Robbins. I'm glad he's saying this, that most people don't realize that half of the money they save is gone because of fees. A 2% fee. And that's nothing. A lot of you pay 5% and you don't even know it. But I want to go back to this, the Federal Reserve and the balance sheet in your retirement. By the way, did you know the home foreclosures? Nobody ever talks about home foreclosures. I could not believe why the candidates the other night didn't talk about home foreclosures. And I can't believe they didn't talk about the Federal Reserve and about the balance sheet and how it affects Americans. I don't understand why they didn't. It's ridiculous. If I was running for president, that would be the biggest thing. I would educate the people how bad the Federal Reserve is, this private company who is no more federal than Federal Express. I would identify just how bad they are. They're a syndicate of gangsters, a syndicate of criminals is what they are. In home foreclosures, we still are having a problem. They've jumped 66%. Year over the year in the third quarter this year. Let me repeat. Home foreclosures jumped 66%. They were telling you how home foreclosures, things are good now and not many home foreclosures, but they're lying to you. Many states like New York, Florida, other states were making home foreclosures so complicated. They're introducing so much legislation. What used to take a month was taking a year. Finally, as years have gone, 7 years have gone on, more than 7 years, the log jam is now breaking. And you're going to see a whole flood of foreclosures coming in, which we need inventory. The biggest problem that we have in this country, and the biggest disservice, was when Obama made a deal with the hedge funds on Wall Street to go in and buy all the debt, all the bad loans off of their balance sheet so they could give them cash to go out and start lending again to hedge funds. Remember, Obama, what he should have done instead is offered these homes to individuals. We could have really helped the economy, because when you buy a home, an individual, you go fix it up. You go to Home Depot and you buy stuff. That really helps the economy. But he didn't care about that. He wanted to take care of the banks who took care of him. That's how he got reelected, with all that money from the banks, who are now taking care of Hillary. So what he did is he went to the banks and said, look, banks, I'm going to get rid of all of these foreclosures, all these toxic mortgages. We're going to do it in two ways. One is we're going to take the Federal Reserve and they're going to transfer these toxic mortgages over to the taxpayer, and the taxpayer is not going to even know that we're screwing them. And then the ones that we have left that we didn't transfer to the Federal Reserve, those toxic mortgages, what we're going to do is get them off your balance sheet, and we're going to give them to the hedge funds. We're going to give them 0% interest. We're going to loan them billions and billions of dollars at no interest. They're going to come in and buy these homes. They're going to turn around and rent them. So we'll get them off your balance sheet so you'll have cash to go out and push the stock market up. How sad that was. Wouldn't it have been wonderful if he went in and took these homes and sold them to individuals? Put in a plan to help individual Americans do affordable housing. Wouldn't that have been wonderful? But he didn't. He took care of Wall Street. The future of our lifestyle, especially seniors, is going to be dependent on the Federal Reserve. It is dependent on the Federal Reserve. Our lifestyle, it's going to be, our retirement is going to be dependent on these dopes, on the syndicate of criminals. These elitists. Can you imagine? They hold our future in their hands. The Federal Reserve. They're going to determine what kind of retirement you're going to have. That's terrible. We hear how the Fed balance sheet has expanded from $800 billion to $4 trillion. Nobody knows what that means. They hear it every day. How many times have you heard, well, the Federal Reserve, boy, their balance sheet's expanded from $800 billion to $4 trillion, $4.4 trillion. And people don't know what that means. They say, oh, it doesn't affect me. Oh, darn, you're right, it affects you. And it's going to it affects your retirement. You may not be able to retire because of that went from 800 billion to 4.4 trillion by going to the banks and buying all their crap, getting it off their balance sheet. It's going to make your retirement miserable. I don't care if you're young, if you're old, we're all connected to this Fed balance sheet, one way or another. And I'm going to explain how important this is to you, especially if you think you're going to retirement and go fish. No, you're not going to go fishing. You're going to go dumpster fishing. You're going to go dumpster fishing because of the Federal Reserve. We'll be right back after this break.
On the show, go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande of Phil's Gang. You know, on May 29th, I warned that a stock market crash was coming. I also warned in July. Both times, I was watching my technology, my PT2 chart, and it turned from green to red. Both in May and July, we had substantial warnings. We saw the industrials fall. We saw that the market, the Chinese market was falling, was getting worse. Oil was falling. Copper was falling. Everything was falling. But again, CNBC was telling you, hey, things are cheap. Diversify. Everything's wonderful. But my chart was giving me something different. And on both those occasions, both in May and July, I told my gang, let's short the stock market now because my PT2 chart indicated a sell-off was coming in. And we did. And we had a wonderful ride all the way down. Join my gang, Phil's Gang.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande of Phil's Gang. You know, on May 29th, I warned that a stock market crash was coming. I also warned in July. Both times, I was watching my technology, my PT2 chart, and it turned from green to red. Both in May and July, we had substantial warnings. We saw the industrials fall. We saw that the market, the Chinese market was falling, was getting worse. Oil was falling. Copper was falling. Everything was falling. But again, CNBC was telling you, hey, things are cheap. Diversify. Everything's wonderful. But my chart was giving me something different. And on both those occasions, both in May and July, I told my gang, let's short the stock market now because my PT2 chart indicated a sell-off was coming in. And we did. And we had a wonderful ride all the way down. Join my gang, Phil's Gang.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264. What is Phil's Gang? philsgang.com is a subscription website service that host Phil Grande has been teaching and providing daily stock investment recommendations for over 15 years, all in the name of making its customers educated investors and helping the kids at St. Jude's Children's Hospital. If you want to take charge of your financial future, then do not wait any longer. For only $49.95, become a Phil's Gang member today. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com, Phil's Gang Radio Show. You know, we just went through a 1,900-point stock market drop, fastest drop ever in 2 days. Most of you panicked. At Phil's Gang, we didn't look at it as a crash. We looked at it as an opportunity because we were short. Why? Because I was able to teach my students how to read a chart. So in advance, they would know that the market was going to go down. It's all about learning. It's always amazed me. Our whole life, someone teaches us to play baseball. Someone teaches us to ski. Someone teaches us how to drive a car. But there's nobody there to teach you how to invest in a stock. And that's where I come. I think I have the best teaching format in the country. Check it out. It's philsgang.com. So you'll be so comfortable. You don't care if the market's going down or the market's going up. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
Our economy has been moving.
Yeah, in the wrong direction. This is the same guy that told us we could keep our doctor and we could keep our health insurance. Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com. Look, I have the best teaching format in the country when it comes to learning how to invest in stocks. People will tell you that. Look, we can't listen to Wall Street. We can't listen to our government. We listen to our charts. That's why you join philsgang.com. Food stamps have exceeded 45 million for 50 straight months. And he's telling us things are good. What are you, nuts?
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877 877-600-4264.
From the perspective of the U.S. economy, I think we've seen continuing signs of strength.
Continuing signs of strength? What are you, nuts? Household spending dropped to its lowest level since 2008. Retail sales dropped to its lowest level in 9 years. Wages to its lowest level in 30 years. Disposable income to its lowest level in 40 years. Home ownership to its lowest level in 30 years. What's he talking about? That's Jack Lew, our Treasury Secretary. We can't trust anything that comes out of Washington or Wall Street. And that's why I want you to join Phil's Gang. My name is Phil Grande of philsgang.com. Well, the reason you stay away from the stock market because you're fearful, because no one has taught you how to invest. You go to school to learn how to do math. You go to school to learn how to drive. Why don't you go to school to learn how to invest using charts? Join my gang, philsgang.com, the best teaching format in the country when it comes to stocks.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. This segment is brought to you by Phil's Talking Trader Stock Charts.
Actions directed by the Federal Reserve alter the purchasing power of our money. And that purchasing power is always reduced. The dollar today is worth only 4 cents compared to the dollar that the Federal Reserve started with in 1913.
And here's the problem for you in retirement. It's the inflation that the Federal Reserve causes that's going to eat away at your dollars, and that's why you've got to go back to work and you can't retire. Welcome to Phil's Gang. Oh, it's terrible. But first, before we get into trying to help you with your retirement, to help you, you got to understand how the Federal Reserve works, and you understand a little bit better, and you got to understand the Ponzi scheme. But let's take a look at the stock market. Let's go to our stock corner.
Stock Corner is brought to you by the Phil's Gang video channel. Go to philsgang.com, click on the video channel graphic, and check out Phil's free videos on the market, economy, and current events.
Now that the lying has stopped as to how strong the labor market is, how strong the economy is, and therefore we got to raise interest rates to cool things down, people are now getting it. The foreigners are now getting it. They're not coming over here anymore and taking their money and putting into our economy because they felt the rates were going to go up. That's the safest place to invest. Because after all, you want to invest where rates are going up because higher rates are synonymous with a great economy. Well, we found out it's not. They've been lying. When we got the 142,000 jobs, it's terrible. So gold has taken off. And I told you back in August this was going to happen, that they would never raise interest rates. They can't raise interest rates. It's impossible to raise interest rates because it would affect the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve and they'd go broke. They'd go broke. That was the biggest lie ever. They're going to raise rates. By raising rates, it would affect the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve, who took on so much debt, who took all this debt on. $800 billion, they expand to $4.4 trillion. They go to the banks and they say, we're going to take your debt. We're going to take it off your hands. And we're going to put it on our balance sheet, which means it's going to be a liability for the taxpayers. Now you have no liability. Now we can loan you that money. So we're going to go in and give you $4 trillion in cash for your assets, which is garbage. Isn't worth $1 trillion. But that's what we're going to do. Now you're going to take all that money and you're going to give it to hedge funds so they can go out and they can start buying commodities. They can start buying stocks, especially the bank stocks, to push the market up. Don't you dare lend to Main Street. Don't you dare lend to housing. You take that $4 trillion and you go start buying commodities and all this other stuff and get your balance sheets up and start getting those stocks went up 400%. The bank stocks went up 400%. What? It didn't do anything to help the country. Nothing. Zero. So now that the gig is out and everybody realizes the problem, everybody's running to gold for comfort. Now, AU, that's Anglo Gold. That's up 31%. If you were a gang member, you'd be up 31% when it turned from red to green. But let's cut that in half. Say 15%. 15%. Let's cut that in half again. Let's say 7%. Let's say we really screwed up. We fell asleep or something. 7%. Even that would be a terrific return. Let's take GDX. These are the exchange traded funds, which are much better than the actual gold. GDX. That's one of our favorites. Up 21% GDX. By simply looking at a chart, watching the money go into these exchange traded funds, when it turned from green to red, 21%. So let's cut that in half. Let's say it's 10%. Cut it in half again, 5%. How beautiful is that? GDX. Perfect. So again, you got these gold. Now, why all of a sudden these golds going up like this? Because they don't have any confidence in the economy. They know that they've been lied to. Silver, another one, up 29%. Say we only caught half of it, 15%. Let's say we caught split in half, 7%. So here's what I want you to do. If you want to make some money, you got to be now in metals. Because as people start finding out what's going on, that the economy is not what we're told, they're all going to gold. Don't wait until you're too late. Now I'm talking, go to the mining stocks, not the actual gold. Go to the mining stock. Join my gang, philsgang.com. 877-600-GANG, and you can follow me every day. And by the way, why don't you follow the 5 stocks that I have every day for my gang? They follow me on the same 5 stocks all year. Schlumberger, Goldman Sachs, Intel, Caterpillar, and IBM. Every day, they just follow me on those same 5 stocks all year. We don't change the stock. Why would we? We don't need to. What difference does it make? As long as we make money when they go down, what difference does it make? You can give me any 5 stocks you want, and I will make money. My gang will make money in those 5 stocks. Doesn't make any difference what stock it is. The idea is to identify the money going in and the money going up. Schlumberger, we're doing terrific with Schlumberger, Intel. So check it out. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. Okay. So if you're ready to retire and you think you may not be able to retire. You may not be able to retire. You know, the Americans lost $5 trillion in 2000, year 2000, the dot-com crash, $13 trillion in 2007. Now the reason they lost more because they lost in housing and the stock market. That's pretty bad, isn't it? Now, do you know what they're saying? This next crash, the crash is coming now, going to be $25 trillion. Because why? Why so much? Even more than the first 2 crashes. Why? Because of the Federal Reserve. How they purposely inflated this bubble. They went way too far this time. They got too greedy. Their Ponzi scheme got so greedy that this time when the market crashes, and it will, you're going to lose $25 trillion, not $5 trillion like in 2000, not $13 trillion in 2007, but $25 trillion. Don't you want to be in that market shorting? Of course you do. Join my gang, and I'll explain why this is going to happen when I get back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Middle-class economics works.
Works? Where? Show me where it works. You tell us the unemployment rate is 5.1%, and you only get to 5.1% by making sure people don't have a job. Think of August. August, the unemployment rate went down to 5.1% because 200,000 people couldn't find a job. If they found a job, our unemployment rate would be at 10%. Isn't this amazing? Hi, I'm Phil Grande of philsgang.com. Aren't you sick of this stuff? Aren't you sick of these politicians? They keep lying to us. You know, Wall Street does too. And how many times have you said, boy, I hate Wall Street. I hate the stock market. But that's the best place in the world to make money. But you need a lesson. You need a lesson on how to invest. That's where I come in. Join my gang, philsgang.com. philsgang.com. It's the best teaching format in the country when you want to learn how to invest in stocks. philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264. At philsgang.com, we promote core technicals and chart analysis that enables each Philsgang member to be the best investor they can be. At philsgang.com, stock investing is defined in detail by the Philsgang standards. Working together, we achieve our goals and ultimately provide a truly unique profit-taking experience for our members. This is what philsgang.com does, and no one does it better than the off-the-Wall Street maverick, Phil Grande. For over 15 years, Phil coaches and teaches that stock investing diversity goes beyond fundamentals and stories. We believe that amazing things happen when people invest in themselves by following Phil's format and recommendations. At philsgang.com, we believe in the desire to embrace, build, and deliver on our core values and promises. And for over 15 years, Phil Grande has delivered on that promise. For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. At philsgang.com, we promote core technicals and chart analysis that enables each Philsgang member to be the best investor they can be. At philsgang.com, stock investing is defined in detail by the Philsgang standards. Working together, we achieve our goals and ultimately provide a truly unique profit-taking experience for our members. This is what philsgang.com does, and no one does it better than the off-the-Wall Street maverick, Phil Grande. For over 15 years, Phil coaches and teaches that stock investing diversity goes beyond fundamentals and stories. We believe that amazing things happen when people invest in themselves by following Phil's format and recommendations. At philsgang.com, we believe in the desire to embrace, build, and deliver on our core values and promises. And for over 15 years, Phil Grande has delivered on that promise. For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande of Phil's Gang. You know, everybody's been panicked about the crash. You've been told by CNBC there wasn't going to be a crash. The stocks were cheap. I've been telling you just the opposite. I've been telling you that going all the way back to June 2014. And then again, 2015, both May and July, and I said to start shorting. And if you were a gang member, you'd be pretty happy right now. Join my gang. Learn how to short.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande of Phil's Gang. You know, on May 29th, I warned that a stock market crash was coming. I also warned in July. Both times, I was watching my technology, my PT2 chart, and it turned from green to red. Both in May and July, we had substantial warnings. We saw the industrials fall. We saw that the market, the Chinese market was falling, was getting worse. Oil was falling. Copper was falling. Everything was falling. But again, CNBC was telling you, hey, things are cheap. Diversify. Everything's wonderful. But my chart was giving me something different. And on both those occasions, both in May and July, I told my gang, let's short the stock market now, because my PT2 chart indicated a sell-off was coming in, and we did, and we had a wonderful ride all the way down. Join my gang, Phil's Gang.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande of Phil's Gang. Remember, on May 29th and July 28th, I said to short the market. The market was going to experience a correction. How did I know? My PT2. Check it out. This is not a crash for us. We're experiencing a correction because we are now making money on our stocks because we're shorting it. Using our PT2 identified for us when they were pulling their money out, both in May and July, and we were right there to pull our money out too. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Radio Show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Okay, remember I told you can join the gang, 877-600-GANG. Call right now. And all you're going to do is follow me every day for a solid year on the same 5 stocks. Right now, Schlumberger, 10%. Goldman Sachs, 5%. Intel, 10%. Caterpillar, 8%. IBM, 7%. Now, that doesn't count when we shorted them. By focusing on just same 5 stocks, we always get the advantage to short them when they go down. That's the key. That's how you get real consistency and profits, by staying with those same stocks. Check it out. Now, here's how the Fed affects you and your retirement, your lifestyle, which most people don't get it. They just don't get it. The commercial banks, we call the commercial bank, the shadow banks. We call them Citi, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, the Lehmans, the big guys. They have, just like the smaller banks, deposits, savings, checking accounts. But those are called liabilities because they're required to hold enough money so that if everybody withdrew their money all at the same time, they could cover it. But of course, they're bigger than the law. Most didn't do that, and that's how they got in trouble in both crashes, especially the last one in 2007. The problem, the banks were using the reserves to do deals. Imagine that. See, they weren't allowed to do that under the Stiegel rules. You weren't allowed to do that. But they did. So they took all the reserve money and they went out and they were doing deals. So when everything started to fall apart, they panicked because they thought it would be like Greece, that there'd be a run on the bank and they had no money. These commercial banks. Now, these commercial banks, they sell their loans back and forth to each other. They borrow money from each other, sell their loans back and forth to each other. But they didn't trust each other's balance sheet. And that's when the whole system froze up because they wouldn't loan money to each other or buy loans from each other, and it froze up. You remember that. So now we had a problem. Bernanke, Paulson, Geithner, they decided, let's come up with a Ponzi scheme. God, we got to come up with something fast before everybody asks for their money because we're going to end up just like Greece. We don't have the money to give them. We'll go into a deep depression. We better do something. So what they did is they set up a system that was all pretend. And it's still in place today, and that's why we're going to have such a stock market crash. It's going to be incredible. So what they did is they simply sat down at a keyboard with a few keystrokes, printed out of thin air $3 trillion. $3 trillion. Funny money. Backed by nothing. Backed not by gold. Nothing. Just air. Took their keys. $3 trillion, they decided. Nice round number. Now, that was exposing you and me, the taxpayer, to the losses of $3 trillion or more. Today, it's $4.4 trillion. We are responsible. You and I bailed these banks out. So when the $3 trillion, they took and they purchased the very same toxic assets, the toxic margins that led to the financial crisis in the first place. So the Fed prints the money, not print it, just the computer. Now there's $3 trillion in the bank, and they say to the banks, here, give me all your bad loans. Now you're going to have $3 trillion in cash, and we'll have all your bad loans, which the taxpayers, the retirees, are going to be responsible for when things go bad, when things blow up. Oh, and they will, because they're garbage. So what it did is put into question the financial strength of the Federal Reserve. That's what you should think about. How strong is the Federal Reserve, for heaven's sakes? If they took all this garbage and gave them $3 trillion in cash, and these assets are horrible. And think what they did. They gave them cash. They gave all this cash to a bunch of insolvent banks. They're still insolvent today. And then when the recovery didn't materialize, our recovery was so slow, it didn't work. So Bernanke went back to the computer again with his keyboard, printed even more money from $3 trillion to $4.4 trillion. Give more because it wasn't working. We weren't all this money. Because remember now, they weren't loaning money to Main Street. They weren't loaning money only to hedge funds. And they thought, wow, we'll get this economy going. It wasn't working. So today the Fed is exposed, you and me, the taxpayer, that's why you're not going to be able to retire, to these losses. Think about it. The Fed exposed you and me, the taxpayer, to even more possible losses than that $3 trillion. To more than 5 times the amount of securities it had prior to 2008 crisis. The Fed balance sheet expanded from $850 billion to $4.4 trillion. Think of it this way. The Fed is leveraged 77 to 1. So that means, think about this. Value of bonds, you know this, can swing drastically and very quickly, and it can have a terrible effect on you. A mere 1.3% change in the value of that 4.4 trillion in bonds will wipe out all the Fed's equity, and we go into a deep depression because you and I are on the hook for all this. So they've been lying about raising rates. See, they've been lying about raising rates. They never intended to raise rates. See, what they never told people was what I'm telling you. How could they raise rates? Because by raising the rates, think what I just said. The Fed is leveraged 77 to 1. Just a little 1.3% change in the value of these bonds, or that 4.4 trillion in bonds, would wipe out the Fed's equity. So how can they raise rates? How can they raise rates? They can't. They never. It was a lie from the beginning. They just wanted the Europeans to come over here and take their euros, change them to dollars, to go and buy bonds, go buy stocks. It was a big lie. That's why everybody's going to gold now. See, they're figuring it out. And that's why I keep inviting you. I don't have all the answers. So why don't you join the gang and follow me with AU? We're 13% gain on that already. GDX 10% gain, and then my 5 other stocks every day. That's it. Just these stocks every day. So was it worth it? Are you kidding? So the risk for you and I, we're never going to see our retirement. The risk for you and I and for the savers is terrible. We're all getting screwed. So here the banks have all this cash now. And what they do with the cash, they paid rich bonuses, rich salaries to themselves. They didn't loan to Main Street to increase jobs, to grow the economy. They kept the money themselves, and they kept artificially pushing the stock market up 160%. And we had the slowest recovery ever, and we have the biggest liability for taxpayers in history with this Federal Reserve, which will and is destroying our retirement. That's why you can't retire, because the inflation alone from all the printing and printing and printing is not backed by gold or anything else. It's killing you and me. It's killing our purchasing power, so we can't retire. There's the problem. See, that new money we were told was to loan to Main Street to help all the homeowners underwater, help all the small business create jobs. Never happened. Instead, it went to the hedge funds to buy stocks, especially bank stocks, to move the bank stock prices artificially higher over 400%. That would be the catalyst to move the entire stock market up 120%. All fake. This is a Ponzi scheme. One big Ponzi scheme. All by a few keys on the computer. So join my gang. So when this crashes and collapses, you're not going to be without a retirement. You're going to be retirement. Your retirement will be even better because you'll make money on the way down. That's how you got to protect yourself.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande, philsgang.com, Phil's Gang Radio Show. You know, we just went through a 1,900-point stock market drop, fastest drop ever in 2 days. Most of you panicked. At Phil's Gang, we didn't look at it as a crash. We looked at it as an opportunity because we were short. Why? Because I was able to teach my students how to read a chart, so in advance, they would know that the market was going to go down. It's all about learning. It's always amazed me, our whole life. Someone teaches us to play baseball. Someone teaches us to ski. Someone teaches us how to drive a car. But there's nobody there to teach you how to invest in a stock. And that's where I come. I think I have the best teaching format in the country. Check it out. It's philsgang.com. So you'll be so comfortable. You don't care if the market's going down or the market's going up. Join my gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You know, this last 1,900-point drop in the stock market scared everybody. They called it a crash. But here at Phil's Gang, we call it an opportunity. Why? Because I taught my students how to read a chart. And here's the problem in this industry. You go somewhere to learn how to drive a car, but you never go anywhere to learn how to invest in a stock. Well, you will do that here at Phil's Gang. Join my gang. philsgang.com, the best teaching format in the country when it comes to stocks.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
From the perspective of the U.S. economy, I think we've seen continuing signs of strength.
Continuing signs of strength? What are you, nuts? Household spending dropped to its lowest level since 2008. Retail sales dropped to its lowest level in 9 years. Wages to its lowest level in 30 years. Disposable income to its lowest level in 40 years. Home ownership to its lowest level in 30 years. What's he talking about? That's Jack Lew, our Treasury Secretary. We can't trust anything that comes out of Washington or Wall Street. And that's why I want you to join Phil's Gang. My name is Phil Grande of philsgang.com. Well, the reason you stay away from the stock market because you're fearful, because no one has taught you how to invest. You go to school to learn how to do math. You go to school to learn how to drive. Why don't you go to school to learn how to invest using charts? Join my gang, philsgang.com, the best teaching format in the country when it comes to stocks.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264.
St. Jude is amazing. A family member said, well, if you go to St. Jude, you don't have to pay anything. And I didn't believe it. They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
Middle-class economics works.
Works? Where? Show me where it works. You tell us the unemployment rate is 5.1%, and you only get to 5.1% by making sure people don't have a job. Think of August. August, the unemployment rate went down to 5.1% because 200,000 people couldn't find a job. If they found a job, our unemployment rate would be at 10%. Isn't this amazing? Hi, I'm Phil Grande of philsgang.com. Aren't you sick of this stuff? Aren't you sick of these politicians? They keep lying to us. And you know, Wall Street does too. And how many times have you said, boy, I hate Wall Street. I hate the stock market. But that's the best place in the world to make money. But you need a lesson. You need a lesson on how to invest. That's where I come in. Join my gang, philsgang.com. It's the best teaching format in the country when you want to learn how to invest in stocks. philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. This segment is brought to you by philsgang.com.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. You know, unfortunately, there is no limit to this Ponzi scheme. The Fed can print as much money as it wants. There's no limit. And this is what's going to kill your retirement. So think what they do. They print money. The banks can do whatever they want now. They're bigger than ever. They can take whatever risk they want because they know when they get in trouble, Bernanke will go in, take his keyboard. How much you guys screwed up what? Or yelling now. How much you need what, 5 trillion? How many zeros is that? Okay. There, it's all set now. I'm going to buy all the mistakes you made. I'm going to shift them to our balance sheet, the Fed, which is now, it's going to be the taxpayer is going to take all that risk. When things go wrong, he's going to take that risk. And that printing is your problem. Why you can't retire. Because the buying power, the purchasing power, the value of your dollar, every time they print, goes down, down, down. So you don't have enough money. You don't have enough units of paper. Instead of having 1 unit of paper to buy an ice cream cone, you need 10 units of paper because they keep going in and taking care of the boys. They keep buying the crap at these banks to prop them up. The banks are insolvent. So that's what affects you. That's why you don't have money. That's why you don't have a job. That's why you're not going to be able to retire comfortably. See, most people don't get that. It's the inflation, it's the volatility from all the printing that is killing you. But most people don't even think in their 401k they pay a fee, any fees at all. So just think, this time it's going to be worse than the 2007 crash. It's going to be worse than the 2000 crash combined because they've gone too far. Too far. So what does this mean? We just go in a corner and cry? No. No. We know their Ponzi scheme. We know what they're doing. They will keep on artificially keep propping up the banks. They prop up the banks artificially to prop up the stock prices. The stock market cannot go up without the bank prices, the bank stocks going up. If a bank stock doesn't go up in price, if that stock doesn't go up in price, I don't care what GE produces, I don't care what profits GM has, I don't care what profits John Deere has, it doesn't make any difference. The stock market can't go up. That's why they did all the crooked things they did in 2007 when the market crashed. They changed the accounting rules from the banks, all that. So here's your problem. You've only been told to make money on the stocks to go up. And when things go bad and the stocks come down, and we have more now crashes than we ever had. The bubbles, they're creating bubbles more and more often because that's how Wall Street makes money, creating bubbles and then popping the bubbles. You only get the side on the way up. And then when the market pops and the market goes down, you give it all back. Please stop doing that. So we follow 5 stocks. So you join the gang today, and if you think I'm lying to you, you're going to know in one day. Because when you join the gang and you see the 5 stocks, and you see where we bought them, you're going to say, gee, you told me Schlumberger, you're up 10%, and Goldman Sachs and Intel 10%, Caterpillar. You weren't. Didn't quit. But you're going to see we are. By staying with those same stocks every day, it gives you such a security because you know those same stocks every day. Every day you go to bed, you know those stocks. You're going to be able to anticipate. You have such control, but the control is on the way back down. Please, I'm telling you, on the way down. When's the last time you made money on the way down? You never made money on the way down. The economy is getting worse and worse. Our jobs are getting worse and worse. Because of this Federal Reserve, because of this Ponzi scheme. Because, see, they should have let the banks, these insolvent banks, go down. Instead, we keep propping them up by printing money and buying their garbage. So now they're out doing it again. The housing market is out there. They're buying crappy loans again. And then who's buying those? The Fed goes back in, buys them off the banks again. And like I said, the worst thing ever happened is when this president let Wall Street go out and buy all these foreclosed houses with 0% interest to rent them. It destroyed this country. First of all, it took all the inventory off the market. So when you hear, oh boy, housing is really going up. Look at prices are moving. That's not good. That's bad. Prices are out of reach now because Obama let the guys on Wall Street go in and buy all the houses, loan them money at no interest, go buy all the houses to rent them. Now they're off the market. They're not for sale. So there's fewer homes, so prices go up. That's inflation. And that's why you can't retire. It's inflation that kills your retirement. So you got to be in a position that every morning you wake up, you never worry again, is the market up or is the market down? Because of the Ponzi scheme. And this is going to go on and on and on. You think they're going to stop this? You think Congress is going to stop this? Of course not. Congress is part of the Ponzi scheme. Because the Federal Reserve, what did they do? They buy all the debt that the Congress creates. They buy it from them. So Congress can then go and get more money and do more of their pet projects.
See, the problem is we have a flawed system. We have artificially low interest rates. We have the lender of last resort. We have this horrendous moral hazard in our system. Instead of correcting the problems and changing policy, what we do is we say, well, we can tinker with the symptoms with regulations, and that even further interferes with the market forces. We need the market to work, and we have not allowed the market to work.
Now, what he's saying is what I'm telling you. Instead of taking all these houses that were on the market that the bank foreclosures, put them out there for people to buy, and let's do some price discovery. If you took Florida and there was 20,000 houses that were in foreclosure at the banks, take them all, put them into a trust, and let the people come in and buy the houses. Let them discover the price. If the house was $500,000 and the best bid they could get is $100,000, so be it. That's capitalism. That's capitalism. But no. They went in and said to the boys on Wall Street, let's give you $6 trillion. You go out and buy all the houses from all the banks. Now the banks don't have any crap on their balance sheet. And now we're going to take all that crap and we're going to put it on the balance sheet of the consumer, who already, by the way, is still suffering with peak debt of $13 trillion that we never reduced from Bush's Ponzi scheme, where he sucked us all in, make us think we were richer than we really were, that your house kept going up every day, and he said, use your house, go shop, it's the American thing. Remember? Go shop. So here's what I want you to do. If you want to be really secure for your retirement, you're not going to do it by going to some planner, putting in some stupid plan, and then he sends you a report every 6 months or every 2 years if you're lucky. Not going to happen. It's not. The only way you're going to do well, because we're going to have these bubbles, they're going to be closer and closer together, because this is how they make money, creating bubbles and been breaking the bubble. If you can wake up every morning, and I promise I'll get you there, where when you hear the market's down 200 points, you go, yeah, the market's down 200 points. Yeah, I'm making money. When's the last time you ever heard, hey, the market's down 200 points? You went, yeah, great. Right? You never did. You never did. You go, oh, no. Oh, what should we do? I call my broker. What, should we get out? Should we get out? What do you think we should do? I'm going to position you. You go, yeah, that's great, because stocks go down 10 times faster than they go up. We're going to make money on the way down. And then we're going to make money on the way up, because we'll never be able to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Ron Paul couldn't do it. Nobody else is going to be able to do it. So while we have these gangsters, this crime syndicate called the Federal Reserve, who owns our Congress, the 300 richest, the 300 elitist families in the world own this thing. Do you really believe we're going to crack that and break that? So why don't we do this? Join my gang tonight. 877-600-GANG. Follow me on my 5 stocks and a couple of these gold stocks. Try it for a month. See if I make a difference in your life. See you on the charts.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grande, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.